right now it's voting season, right? And so everybody in the fall is out there getting out there, and then I encourage everybody to go out there and vote. Whatever you vote, do it. We've exercised your right to be part of what we do in this country. There's a lot of people that have died for that right. There's a lot of people who have fought for you to have that right to vote. Go vote. So what I'm thinking about the situation with Deshaun Watson is, I look at the fan base being split, and a lot of people are on one side or the other with Deshaun Watson, and this is a game right here where I think that he could earn some people's votes. And I think sometimes candidates do things during your voting season that kind of put them behind the 8 ball, and they go from actually not winning people's votes to losing people's votes. You say, how is that possible, G. Bush? There's a lot of things you could do just not to lose people's votes, right? Sometimes the vote is already baked in. Sometimes, people vote with the D or the R. Sometimes people vote conservative or progressive. Sometimes people vote independent. Sometimes people vote for things that are valuable to their precinct. But sometimes the vote is already baked in. My mom votes this way, I'm going to vote this way. And I haven't seen much of it. But I did see a couple ads on TV, and I didn't like how he said this. Or I did see somebody say something bad about him. Right now, Deshaun Watson, for better or worse, has not had an ample sample size to gain people's votes. Now, if you don't have anything ample or any game footage to show, there's some things you can do to win over the vote. First things first, when you playing this game, Deshaun Watson, cool, calm, and collected. Just like you got to be on the debate stage. Don't be frustrated. You have to actually, when you're debating up there and you're getting up there with all the panel of the candidates or whatever, and shots are being thrown and fired, you got to be prepared, and you got to sit there like you have heard this before, and all of this stuff that you guys, all my detractors and all my political foes. This is nothing. I'm prepared. My people have prepped me and to deliver your questions and deliver answers in a very succinct, very positive way, and on top with some confidence. You need to do the same thing here in this game. It's going to be a hostile environment. You're going to be going against a really good candidate who has a really good track record, and that's Lamar Jackson. He already has the voting ranks, so the votes is already in on a lot of the people. They think Lamar Jackson has already beat you. They think he is the incumbent, actually. And he's up in the polls. What you can do to not give up any of your votes right now and to be able to stay consistent when the tough get going, stay calm, stay chilly. You're going to have a left tackle out or a brand new left tackle that may be in here. That's either Hudson or who knows, we're playing musical chairs. We just hope DeJuan Jones is playing over the right side. If DeJuan Jones and Jet Wills is out, there may be musical chairs over there with the guards and Batonio, and I don't know what we're going to do. There's a lot of different things that may be swirling and talking about you in terms of you staying cool. When you back there, you got to stay cool. No turnovers, no self-inflicted wounds, none of that. That's number one. How can you earn people's votes here in your fan base? Let's continue on. When you're campaigning and you're doing certain things, one thing that you got to do, no flip-flopping. Don't tell CNN one thing, then don't go to Fox and tell them another. Don't get on MSNBC and say one thing, and then you go over there to ABC and say another thing. When you're on the press, if you said something in the first debate, double down on it. Stay consistent. We don't want you flip-flopping back and forth during campaign season, Deshaun Watson. And if you can stay not flip-flopping, a.k.a. turning the football over, a.k.a. not being judicious with the football, you can gain people's votes. As a matter of fact, I can prove to you this. If you don't give up the ball and you don't give up a strip sack against another division rival, Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, hostile environment, we win that football game. Learn from what you did in the first debate. That was a primetime debate against a primetime opponent. That was another incumbent that had a nice fan base, that had a lot of votes baked in, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Learn from that. Go into this game, learn from what you did before in that hostile environment, and you, my good sir, will retain votes. People say, you know what, that Deshaun Watson character, I never saw his platform too much. I haven't watched the Browns a lot, but I commend him. That's the number 2 defense in the league, and he went in there with a line, and he was poised. He didn't get rattled. He didn't turn the football over. He didn't flip flop, and he looked cool, calm, and collected. I like this Watson guy. And then finally, Deshaun Watson, in this sense of being a voting, everybody's voting for president, medium. We voting for levies. We vote for bills and all kind of stuff. One of the things that you could do finally is seize the opportunity. Seize the opportunity and capitalize when other people mess up. You see, sometimes when you get on the debate stage, you got a very short time to answer and rebuttal. You got to be on your toes. You got to be somebody slips up, and you understand that they've been flip-flopping on their topics. You understand that they saying something contradictory to their own platform. You've been watching this person, and nobody has pressed them on their financial awareness. No one has pressed them on a bill that they didn't get passed. No one has their track record down. They ain't calling them on it. You got to be there on that debate stage, ready to go ahead and say, my good sir, what about X, Y, and Z? You never spoke to that. And listen, and the reason he hasn't spoke to that is because he's flip-flopping and he doesn't believe in what he says. That's the key to gaining votes, understanding what your opponent does and being able to sit there and capitalize off of it. And guess what, Deshaun? You're going to need that. You see, capitalizing for you means if Lamar Jackson wants to drop the football, we got to be on it quick. We need you to get the ball and convert those to points, not 3s, but 7s, right? When they make a huge mistake and you have very little time, very little talking time with multiple candidates on the stage, you got to jump in there, get in the fray, get in the fight, and don't be afraid to get rough and tumble with them. And then you can drop down your knowledge and let them cats know, I've been looking at your platform. You have your track record. Your track record on X, Y, and Z is not really jumping. Here's what I can offer you. That's what you need to do in this game. Anytime that they get a 3 and out, your defense get a 3 and out, you go back on offense, and then you give their defense hell. Anytime that they ain't moving the football and you pin them deep and they got a flip field position, now that's where you come in and capitalize off of that. As you can see, we're talking about the things that you can do to earn people's votes. And lastly, coming out of Baltimore with a win, that's a slam dunk. See, right now, as your campaign manager, Deshaun, don't worry about the polling. Polling is off these days. Who goes by polling anymore? Huh? Things change like this in a political sense in a snap of a finger. Right now, there's not a lot of people that's supporting you back home in Cleveland. There's some people who believe that you're not even a upgrade in leadership from the last quarterback we had. There's some people that say you make too much money, and people saying that you're not showing the leadership. They question your toughness. They've been doing a lot of those things. But what I can tell you, Deshaun, is this. Voters are fickle sometimes. And voters, they vote on emotion. And one thing that we can tell you about AFC North football games, Deshaun, it's going to be emotional and it's going to be pivotal and important. And more than anything, the great people of Ohio and the great people of Cleveland, you know what they respect? They respect hard-nosed integrity. They expect people to go out there and work hard. And what they need above all is somebody to show up when the chips are down. In this game, that's what you need the most. And if you're looking to pick up votes here from the people of Cleveland, if you want to be elected as the leader, if you want to be elected as the franchise quarterback and get that trust and gain the trust of the people of Cleveland, all you need to do is go out there and win a game. That's it, one game. We ain't asked you to beat no Lions or Cowboys, or we're not saying that you got to stop an alien invasion. All you got to go out there to do is go to Baltimore, execute the offense, lean on a damn good defense. And I'll tell you what, if you make enough really good throws, you only need about 4 or 5 of them. Manage this offense and don't put the ball on the turf. You will gain all the votes you need to elect you as the true franchise quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. See what I did there? And that's your your political version of my coach speech for Deshaun Watson. But besides that, all jokes aside, though, a lot of what I'm saying has some merit to it. In terms of how can he win your vote? Because here's the thing: there's a lot of people right now that are on one end of the spectrum or the other. But one thing that I could say is, if he goes out there and the Cleveland Browns right now at 5-3, and they go out there playing a 7-2 team and the Baltimore Ravens, and they could get this win and put themselves in first place in the AFC North, you're looking at a completely different embrace. You're looking at a completely different swag for anybody that's going in that locker room. And to be able to do that, and they were able to do that when you had guys named PJ Walker, when you guys had guys named DTR, when you lose a guy like Nick Chubb, when you don't even have Conklin, when Jed Wills is out now, you spent most of the time wondering if your quarterback could even throw the ball 5 or 10 yards. Hey, you even talking about Joe Bitonio has had surgery and been back. For you to be in first place or talking about first place is a damn good accomplishment. And I think that Deshaun Watson can earn a lot of points, a lot of cachet, and he can start to get to a point where now he's banking certain trust. He's banking trust when it comes to the Cleveland Browns fans. And what they wanted more than anything, Deshaun, they wanted to be able to say, look, we got you for this reason. We got you for this reason. We want to see if you're able to go to that next level, that rarefied air, not the medium level, not medium sauce. We want to see you go to the rarefied air. We want to see you drop throw after throw after throw. When it's 3rd down and 7, you dial it up for 9. When you need 3rd down and 5, you run for 7. When you need a 4th and 1, you tell them, no, Harrison Bryant, you stay on the sideline. I'll run the quarterback sneak. Those are the type of the performance that ingratiate you to the fans. And a lot of times, and let me explain it to you, we understand this. And I know Deshaun Watson has and it's just a reality of the situation. I gave this analogy. Deshaun Watson in Cleveland is the equivalent of the difference between your son and your nephew. Let me repeat. Deshaun in Cleveland is the difference between how you treat your son and your nephew. If it's your son and he get good grades, guess what? You congratulate him. But if it's your son and he get bad grades, you're like, no, we're going to have to figure something out. We're going to have to figure something out. You can't be, you making me look bad. But when it's your nephew, you don't be getting into the weeds with your nephew. You be like, my nephew's a good ball player over there. He plays across town. Good ball player. Got to keep his grades up, though. You see how the thing that you emphasize most was the fact that he was a good athlete and he got to get his grades up. What does that really mean? Does he get C's? But if it's your son, he gonna tell you, oh, my son been doing this thing. And then he's gonna tell you, but he need to raise his math grade. He need to get this done. It's a level of investment. It's a level of investment when it comes to how you talking about him. If you got a great nephew, like, I got a great nephew, good guy, good kid, man, it's going to be solid going to this place. Guess what? If you got a good kid and it's your son, you like, oh, listen, my son the best ever. Matter of fact, they need to be letting him play quarterback and receiver. I'm going to tell you what, throw the ball and catch it himself. You like, all right, son, nephew, different involvement. Here in Cleveland, you're more invested when you draft a quarterback. And this is to Deshaun Watson. I'm giving you, get your pen and pad. I'm giving you game right here. It's different in Cleveland. When they draft you here, that means they drafted you with draft capital. They've seen you from the beginning. They didn't watch YouTube highlights on you. They didn't imagine you becoming the next greatest quarterback in the history of the Browns. They imagine you winning Pro Bowls. They imagine you going to the Super Bowl, multiple championships, and you signing a long-term deal. And they looking around in their own city like, okay, this is where it's going to be. This is where the billboard going to be. This right here is another place where you're going to get it. They done all of that because they drafted you and they have invested time, energy, and effort into who you are. Guess what? You ain't got none of that. You got drafted by the Texans. You got your best highlights with the Texans. You signed your first big deal with the Texans. You don't have no stock built up. You don't have no trust built up. So when the quarterback that we used to have, that we drafted, throw 3 picks, we could talk ourselves out of that. Oh, he's young, offensive line wasn't blocking, maybe it was them, maybe the receivers didn't run the right thing, he has to learn that read. They're gonna get all the excuses, homie. All the built-in excuses they're gonna get. You are not gonna get any of those. They expect you because you came in and got that bag. Somebody else drafted you. They haven't even seen you develop. All we done seen is highlights. And all we know is we ain't getting them same highlights that you was doing before. So this is a reason. This is a way. This is your first opportunity as a marquee quarterback to signal to the national media that I ain't fell off, signify to the local media, this is why you got me, and signify to the Baltimore Ravens, hey, it's a new day. You ain't the only one that got a gunslinger. You ain't the only one Cincinnati. You ain't the only one Baltimore. You ain't the only one Pittsburgh. Y'all got to deal with me now. And it's a great opportunity for it. Let's